Happy Real Tuesday. Technique Talk Tuesday. Hey Robin, Marilyn, hello, hello. Sorry, I'm just cleaning out under my mat here. How is everybody on this Tuesday? I don't even know what it's like outside. Hey Barbara, Mary, Lois, hello, hello. How's everybody doing? Janice, hello. Yes, I'm kind of cold too. My studio is down in the basement and I feel like I'm a little chilly. And what, it's about 30 something degrees out, so it didn't get very warm today. So say hello as you're popping on. Thank you for joining us on another fine Technique Talk Tuesday. Oh, it was sunny out today, Marilyn. I didn't even get to go outside. Well, for a second, I had to get groceries out of the car. Today will be the third and last technique that we're going to do right now with Distress Embossing Glaze. I've had a lot of fun with it. Hope you guys learned some fun techniques that you're going to try. And if you do try them, I hope that you share them with us. All right. Well, why don't we get started? Okay, so I've done a couple of samples, and this technique is really fun in building your layers, and it's very organic. Let's call it organic. So what it does is it creates another layer. These tags were mostly sprayed with Distress sprays and oxide sprays first, and then what I did, so these splatters that you can see here that are a little bit shiny, those are done with embossing glaze, and I'm going to show you how I did that. But there's a bunch of different ways that you can utilize the technique. You can use it on the colors like this, and then if you put another layer of this Uncharted Mariner over it, it will be this, the embossing glaze will act like a resist, but it looks like water splatters, so it's very, like I said, it's very organic. You can see on this cute little guy, these walnut stain splatters over here, those are embossing glaze as well. And then on this one, you can see these are walnut stain. This is on a craft, and this is with oxides. This is Uncharted Mariner, Lost Shadow, and Lumberjack Plaid. But this is what it looks like if you're doing it just on a tag with nothing on it already. All right, so I am going to do this technique just to show you, because we're not going to use any kind of embossing ink or pen or anything like that. We are going to use water. Got my Distress sprayer right here with just regular water, and I am going to use Kitsch Flamingo, because then I'm going to show you on this lovely background what another layer of embossing glaze will look on, like on this one. Okay, so I know I've talked about the different ways that you can spray with your sprayer. If you pull the trigger all the way in really fast, you get a fine mist. If you're slow and steady with the pull of the trigger, you get splatters and splotches, all right? You don't have to use a sprayer. You could also dip your finger in some water and spray it on there, or, you know, drip it on there too. I just like to use my sprayer because it's convenient and my hands don't get all wet. So I'm just going to put some water, some big splotches, and some not so big splotches. Then I'm going to put my tag on the paper, and I'm just going to pour the glaze over. Make sure I'm on camera. And see where the water splatters, that is where you're going to get your embossing ink. So you can see it is very organic, and it would be hard to get this look with your embossing pad, and it would take you quite a while to draw all of these with your pen. So this is just a fun, quick and easy way. Let me pour this in my container and close it before I spill it. You know how that goes. All right. So then what I am going to do is grab my handle it, little tongs here. And then I'm going to heat from the bottom so it doesn't blow all of the embossing powder off the top just while it gets it gets going. So while the embossing glaze heats up a little, starts to melt, so that's how it sticks in place. The powder is just sticking where the water is, but once it starts melting, then it's going to stay on your paper or your tag or your whatever you're using. I don't know if you guys can see. It's hard to show you the magic happening here, but it is melting. I think you can kind of see it. Turns a little bit darker pink. All right, we'll just get this all melted. It takes a little bit longer with the water because you've got to get the water heated up that's underneath the powder before it will start melting. All right, so you can see how the embossing glaze just melted where the water was and the water evaporated, but you just really get that splattered look. So it really looks like it's a splatter, like you would do with a splatter brush or however you accomplish your splatters. I do it with all different things. Okay, so that is what it looks like when you're not doing it on a layer. Now we've got this. This is on watercolor paper. This is probably Distress ink that I smushed on and did the dipping technique in. But I want to add another layer on top. So let's add some pink. So you can kind of see how we can build layers on this also. Get my equipment ready. All right, I'm going to spray off of my paper over here. Can you see? So that I don't get water on my paper. I'm just going to try to concentrate in this area so you can see how you can just build that up. All right. Let's dump this back in. And of course put the lid on because, well, I'm clumsy. Okay, so you can kind of see how it just looks like another spritz of ink on there. All right, let's heat it up. Trying to get a good angle so you guys can see. So it started to melt, so now I'm going to go on the top because that's a little bit faster. And voila, look at that. Now, if we were going to do some spraying or some more smushing over this, this embossing glaze right here would act as a resist. So whatever we put on top is going to leave, we not go on top of the embossing glaze unless you're using paint and dabbing it on. Now, so since we did this small area, if we wanted to add, say, another color over here, you could do that too. So you can just keep building up your layers, and it's just another way to get some different texture. This, the embossing glaze you can feel, right, because it has an actual texture. The ink is just flat. It gives dimension based on how it dries and builds the layers of the color. All right, let me look at the questions here. Marilyn's saying, would that also work with regular embossing powder? It sure would, Marilyn. I was using the Distress Glaze because it's translucent and you can see the layers underneath. So if you look here on this pink, you can see the purple ink underneath. But yes, I'm sure that it would work with regular embossing powder. And then Gabrielle is asking, is that now shiny? Yes, wherever there is the embossing glaze, it is shiny. Let's see if I can catch the light so you can kind of see. I don't know. But yes, it is shiny. Now they do have matte embossing powder, so you could certainly try that. But yes, so that's it. Just a fun technique to add some more dimension and some more layers when you're building up your backgrounds. I think that it would be a great like a cloud in the sky, or a water. Kind of a water look, I guess, with shiny. But yeah, does anybody else have any other questions? Yeah, this was a quick one today, but this technique with water is really fun and gives you some good ideas with what you can do with embossing powder if you don't have embossing ink. So you could also let your water drip and do drips and things too. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Alrighty. So thank you so much for joining us. Nobody has any other questions? I am going to call it a day. Well, call it an evening. And get back. I was working on a project, a personal project. I'm going to give you a really quick sneak peek just so you can see. I made a book. Look at this. It's a little book. It is a collaboration project I'm working on. So just started it. That's all the peek you get. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll save, if you joined us in the middle and didn't see the beginning, I'm going to save the recording. You can always watch the replay. And enjoy the rest of your week. See you soon.